Welcome back to Champion Spring. Your MVP from Game 1 is going to be Mickey with a fantastic performance with Twisted Fate in the mid lane.
One of his signature picks. A lot of bans against Mickey's Twisted Fate this season. Blunt goes ahead and blind picks it, does the work, and that's just brutal. There's nothing you can do if you fly.
Yeah, you had some fantastic individual moments in this game, but you have to give it up to AFREECA as a whole, really just playing cohesively as a team, layering that CC in supreme fashion and just working through KT like they were a hot knife through butter.
Yep, nice pick composition, expertly executed. They set up the roams from Snowflower and from Lyra to make it work, and of course Mickey here with this fancy little duel against Score coming through and checking out that blue card, just waiting for the Lamb's Respite to go through once again. He moves the bush, helping him out. Here we go, red card, boom. It's actually the best card he could have drawn in that situation. Was an instant cast though.
Yep. Good RNG. You can see just setting up the rest of this game as they just stormed through the base and took it down. KT did not stand a chance. There wasn't really a moment where it was going back and forth either. It was pretty much just straightforward victory from AFREECA from the get-go.
Yeah, they acquired a nice gold lead. They had some little bit of a mishap in some of the early skirmishes, but they were aggressive, played well with the picks, and took the resulting objectives. KT, they'd really like to take a win here that would actually tie them up for second place in the league and help secure their standing. They need to get these wins against the lower tier teams while they can.
Pretty good. We'll see how that last game is going to affect KT's draft. Coming in here, you know, do you want to ban away that Twisted Fate? Do you go for something else to take away? Zed, yet again, going to be the first ban out. So a repeat of game 1.
I think you ban the TF instead of the LeBlanc or the Varus. They banned 3 mid champions against Mickey in the first game on blue side.
Yeah,
there it is. All right.
So TF goes away. We'll see if they still want to follow up with a third mid ban, or maybe if they want to take something else off of the board. Kalista might end up making it through all 3 games.
May very well. KT is still going to be prioritizing the Poppy, though, for someday, as opposed to the Kalista, one would imagine.
For sure.
Okay, Fiora, there's a different ban. They banned Nidalee, Corki, Trundle.
Yeah, AFREECA banned this last game, so from the blue side now. This time banning it now on the red side on top of the Nidalee.
It makes sense, though. Lulu Fiora compositions have been bread and butter for KT this season. Always going to be an option for them, and there's the LeBlanc. So they don't ban the Varus, ban the LeBlanc instead.
Well, maybe the Varus is just something you try to pick up for yourself.
Now you got to cover your mouth with your book. That's how you do it. So the other team can't hire lip readers to understand your strategy conversations.
Really?
Yeah.
Impressive stuff. It's not something that I ever would have considered here.
That's what people do in major sports a lot of the times.
Okay.
You want to have something in front of your mouth at all times, because otherwise people could just watch the footage with lip readers and get all your sweet, sweet strategies.
You just have to develop a very intricate code.
Well, baseball has that.
Where everything that you say means something completely different.
Oh, snap.
And then you tie it in with a hand motion. So this means the Statue of Liberty play, and this...
I like it. Nobody can see your hand motions.
They can. The audience can. There's some people in the audience.
They did it for them.
Yeah. But yeah, Poppy does get banned away. Lasting there from AFREECA, so taking that away, of course, from Someday.
But that means that Corki and Trundle are up, which they chose to ban out in game number 1, and they are going to go for the first pick, Corki.
So we'll see if that's going to end up in the mid lane for Fly or go down to the bot side for Arrow.
So you're not going to be so confident about the Nautilus pick here as they were in game 1. I like the red side Nautilus ban, or Trundle ban, so they could take Gragas Nautilus. I imagine they're going to take the Gragas again because of the flex pick status.
I mean, Lyra did play it in game 1. Wasn't too impactful, I suppose, but didn't do that poorly on it either. So could just be revisiting that. But of course, as we were discussing at the beginning of the day, the Gragas does operate as a flex pick because it could go to Ixu in the top side of the map. So
If I'm AFREECA at this point, I always take Gragas in the first round of the red side draft when I have it available because I'm the only team that can flex it. So take Trundle too, why not?
So Gragas comes in, Trundle likely going to be locked in here as we get down to the last 4 seconds, and it is. So something that was banned away in these first 2 games gets locked in for AFREECA. We'll see a lot of flexibility here for both of these picks.
KT kind of has to take the Nautilus now because if they let AFREECA have the Nautilus also, there will be 3 possible top laners, 2 possible supports, and 1 possible jungle for the AFREECA Freaks. And that's going to be a scary draft, especially since that last pick will be determining where a lot of these champions go. So I think you have to take the Nautilus here and just run him support. I think you just take Kalista Nautilus, commit to playing Nautilus support right now so that AFREECA can't do some black magic with their draft here and switch everything around.
If you want to go really crazy, it could be two flex in the mid lane. Gragas mid, harken back to that.
Well, yeah, it's true.
Nautilus.
The Nautilus mid, we've seen it even in this league this season.
So it's going to be Elise and the Kalista yet again for Arrow. So Kalista making it through bans all
Yes,
3
take an
games.
80 carry and take the Nautilus. Do it. Do it, AFREECA. No one will know their matchup.
Let's see if they can hear you.
Then you totally psych everybody out. Oh, now I'm sad. All right.
Oh, okay, so showing their hand. So it will be the Lulu picked up here for Mickey. And Songyun going to be rocking the Lucian again. Had a very good showing against Arrow's Kalista the first game.
If they had taken Nautilus, they could have taken Graves last and played Nautilus mid with Lucian and Graves with Gragas top and Trundle support. That would have been incredibly confusing for their opponents. I want to draft for the AFREECA Freaks instead. This is a fun job.
That's your new career.
Freaks drafter.
Official job title. Get one of those nice jackets.
The AFREECA Freaks jackets.
Nice baseball.
Nice.
City jackets that they got going on.
Wow, we haven't seen a rise in a really long time.
Yeah, he
ever since those nerfs.
got really significant nerfs. And
I think
only
this.
change,
Okay, good.
Okay, yeah. Because the only change that he got was his Q gained 40 more damage, which doesn't do a whole lot for you. Looks like, though, it's going to be Maokai and Thresh. So Thresh Kalista, very classic bot lane. Thresh, not a champion we've seen too much of recently.
KT has taken away all of the pick potential from AFREECA. So now it's gone the exact other way. They're saying, all right, you want to play these bloody games, these skirmish games? We are going to take the pick champions that you had, 3 of them, the Elise, Kalista, and the Maokai last game, and we're going to do it to you this game instead.
Please.
You don't really want that.
No, I do. I really
They're gonna
want it.
No, Achilleos. They're going to have to play a carry jungler because they need more damage in the late game.
Galio is all the damage you need, Monte Cristo.
That's just not true. I'm sorry.
He's one of my favorite champions.
No, don't do that.
He is.
No. I'm saying the Nautilus.
Oh.
Play Kindred or
I thought
Graves.
you were saying don't. I thought you were saying don't enjoy.
Well, they could have.
Galio.
Okay, now I'm frustrated because they could have taken the Nautilus earlier than last pick the Lulu.
Yeah.
But that's okay. They really wanted that Lulu. Might as well take it so that KT can't grab it and go Lulu Corki, but then you'd have too much magic damage, so probably weren't going to take Lulu with the Corki already on the table. I don't know. I think AFREECA, I'm not too thrilled with that draft, actually.
See how
Especially since they already knew the Corki and the Kalista were there, so they knew Corki was going mid.
Yeah.
Might as well scrap the Nautilus, but Ixu going to be on the top lane Nautilus. Huge tank wall with the Trundle to sap the Maokai. With the Trundle ultimate in the late game team fights, but again, Songyun, so much pressure on him. He has to do all of the damage in the late game. Very SK Telecom-esque composition. KT has some power in the mid lane with the Corki, but they're going to be about the picks, package to get to the side lanes, and using the Corki to gank with those single target CC and get the hook, the Elise Cocoon, and the Twisted Advance. So Fly needs to be mobile with the package and see if they can get any of these turret dives or picks in the jungle using that ability from Corki.
Yeah, we'll see how Mickey's going to build as well. Could go for the more Faker-esque, start with a Frost Queen's Claim, go into a Lich Bane. That very aggressive. You can see he is running the teleport, so he will at least be able to match global presence if Fly roams to these side lanes. So, looks like we might just have another bloodbath on our hands here for game 3. Exciting conclusion here, AFREECA versus KT ROLSTER. A lot of gusto for AFREECA.
Everybody loves the underdogs because these underdogs have actually shown they can take down teams like SK Telecom and Samsung, that they're competitive at least with the middle of the table here in Champion Spring.
Yeah, and maybe able to take down the number 3 team of KT, and this would be a really great win if they could actually finish out this match. The last time they played against KT, as I said earlier, they got 2-0'd. And they have a very rough schedule ahead of them with CJ, Longju, Rocks Tigers, and Jinair. The only easy team that they have left to face is going to be Spenu.
And they pretty much just have to beat all of them to get into the playoffs, too.
Exactly.
So all matches are crucial, including this one.
It's a very long and rough road ahead. But we'll see if they're able to take this first step toward it. KT not looking so hot in that last game, but like you said, a lot of pick potential back on the side of KT with the Thresh, with the Elise. The twisted advance from Maokai, and good follow-up damage from Fly on this Corki and Arrow and the Callista. See though, early aggression coming in as Songyun and Snowflower are going to push into the jungle. They spot outscoring someday. Yeah,
they were late though to actually delaying that Gromp, and they're also starting on their strong side of the jungle. They're not going to have much to clear when it comes to actually taking some of these camps. We'll see if AFREECA is going to double back over for their Wolves, because if they just try and go here, they only have one camp in the top side enemy jungle, and that's the blue camp to go for. So they may not have the most efficient pathing when it comes to farming this game, and it could set Lyra just a little bit behind.
See just some early trades back and forth here between Mickey and Fly. Fly not having such a hot game. Second time around,
Well, that wasn't really his fault. That was, he actually couldn't do anything. You know, at a certain point, if you get hit by a gold card and then you just can't move afterwards, or flash, or ult yourself, can't really be blamed for that.
Yeah.
Maybe he should have taken the cleanse, but that would have been not very impactful against the Twisted Fate. But of course, TF Elise, that's usually a lane that people will take cleansing with, basically, or against. So someday now meeting up down here at the bottom side, and that's just going to be a blue buff for Lyra. He's going to be starved out, just a hair. Score will have a lot more camps to farm there in the enemy side of the jungle. That means KT will get a tiny, tiny little bit of an edge as these turrets going down at approximately the same rate.
Yep, mirrored start here. The first lane swap that we're having. There's double jungle in this set. Standard lanes, the first 2 games, which did net us that very bloodthirsty match. But after those last games, I think that KT and AFREECA could still figure out a way to make it just as bloody.
Oh, they can, and they will. Lots more roaming. So we need to see. Thinking about recalling, he's not going to go and take the Wolves in the end after their respawn. So we're backing off, leaving one of the small Wolves remaining at that camp, just to be a little bit annoying before he moves and goes for the crab grab.
Yeah, and we can see he's got a very solid, a decent CS lead, I should say. Just a couple minions up over top of Lyra, so when he comes back with this first recall, he'll be extra powerful.
That's the interesting thing about these lane swaps too, is there's a lot of decision making that goes into where you start in the jungle and how greedy you're going to be. If you double back into your weak side jungle after their support and/or AD carry leaves to try and grab up some of those camps, it'd be a little bit more annoying. The score is still here.
Yep. Snowflower comes in, throws down a pillar. Fly's going to take a little bit of damage, but clearly doesn't care too much.
Trying to bait that in. Mickey doesn't have Ignite though, and Fly has heal, so unlikely he'd actually go in on that. They just want to push this out, so Fly has an opportunity to recall.
Yeah. And also Valkyrie, so plenty of ways for him to get the safety. Meanwhile, it's just going to be the AD carries pretty much abandoned for the time being up in opposite sides of the map. So Arrow up in this top side and Songyu now in the bot. So it looks like we're just going to have another tier 1 swap. So
oh boy,
very standard.
And then the heralding and the dragoning will commence.
Yes, it will. Some decent vision though in the river. The Scuttle Crab's still standing for KT, so they'll know if they do go for the dragon right after this tower.
Yeah, and you see Score coming up there. He knows that Lyra went down into the bottom lane to get the damage down, so he has to come up there to maintain the pace before they fall back for the Rift Herald. Arrow now recall himself, and Sunday just patiently denying CS. Yep. AFREECA FREECS, Dragon, but of course, and KT Rolster with the Rift Herald. So who is going to get the Rift Herald buff? Score is a good target because he is a ranged jungler in this matchup, and of course nobody else is there unless they would like to give it over to Johnny, which they probably don't.
Yep.
But ranged junglers with that Rift Herald buff, this is where you can really power up a tier 2 push when you swap back. Or you could do the grub.
Yep.
They gotta wait for that anyway. I mean, Arrow's not in lane, so it'll take some time to develop. Arrow with the Swiftness Cull build, so
yeah.
he is fast, but not ready for combat anytime soon.
Yeah, he is fast, his attacks are not. So gonna take a while before he's gonna be able to get that Blade of the Rune King, or maybe even the Hurricane. We did see the Hurricane first bought by Songyu in the last game. Could go a similar route, but it's gonna be that much more power for Songyu here on the Lucian, as he does have the Call Fields completed on top of the Cull. So a bit of a stronger start for him.
Arrow just wants to farm. Wants to get to these waves faster. Make sure he doesn't lose any CS whatsoever. Yeah, a little bit weird. We don't normally see Boots of Swiftness alongside a Cull that early. That is quite greedy, and pretty much an admission that you are not going to be fighting in the next several minutes.
900 gold that could have gone to anything else. Could have gotten,
yep.
could have gotten your Vamp Scepter. Could have gotten a couple daggers.
Whatever you want. The world is your oyster with 900 gold.
The possibilities are not very endless.
900 gold, if you think about each one of those gold coins, they're each an ounce of gold. That's over, like what, $900,000 in gold. That's a lot of gold. It's like,
it just goes
it's
to
actually
show
over $1 million. I think gold is like $1,200 an ounce right now.
It just goes to show how expensive these items really are.
Who would buy a $500,000 dagger?
Let me tell you about this dagger. This is a nice dagger. It's diamond crusted hilt.
I better be.
It was owned by King Henry the
Yeah, it was owned by Charlemagne. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're getting into real expensive dagger territory.
Yeah.
Well,
you know, this thing has history to it.
All right.
That's what you're paying for.
Got it. It's impressive that they were able to acquire so many items with such rich histories and then let people continue to fight with them in the League of Legends.
They were made very sturdily. You don't get this quality of build anymore these days. They don't make them like they used to.
I wonder what the boots are then, because those are some super expensive, like paper bag looking boots that they got going on. But frankly, that doesn't look like a really good purchase.
It's leather boots that have been sewn together by the brown hide of a unicorn.
All right, great. Love
Unicorns are rare. A brown unicorn's even rarer, Monty.
Is that true?
I don't
Who
know.
would want a brown unicorn?
I don't know.
Unicorns are majestic and pure creatures because they're white. Brown unicorns are gross.
It's a corrupted unicorn, I guess.
Wouldn't that be black?
Maybe.
Slightly corrupted unicorn. One slightly corrupted unicorn skin.
Halfway.
It was sort of evil. It kicked one guy in the face one time.
That would hurt.
The unicorn kick?
Yeah.
I assume so. Would it hurt more than a regular horse kick?
My friend, his father was, he did like shoe. I don't know what the actual term would be. A shoe horser? I don't know. Like
I thought you were gonna say he shoots unicorns.
No, yes, he shoots unicorns for a living. Really weird guy. Always kind of out of it. I don't know. I thought he had a drug addiction. No, but yeah, he would horse shoes, or put shoe horses on horses. And the one time he got kicked in the
stomach.
Uh-huh.
Like 5 broken ribs.
Yep,
Out of the job for several months.
it happens.
So I can imagine that a magical horse would kick you even harder than a regular one.
Unicorns aren't really that awesome, though. They're just horses with a horn. Do they really do anything else? I don't think so.
I guess they could stab you with it.
They're like a horse with accessories. Is that really that cool? I don't know. I don't think it is.
It's a trendy horse.
I think I could put a tiara on a horse that'd be just as special as a unicorn is.
You let me know when you do that. I want to see that. You take the pictures and you just upload them, and I'll let you know.
When I put a tiara on a horse, all right. I will let you know.
All right. Very good. 10.5 minutes. Not seeing too much coming out from either side yet. Playing methodically. I mean, it's game 3. Nothing too shocking. Nobody wants to make that first mistake that starts snowballing the game in favor of the enemy team.
Well, it's also a bit about farming, right? They got the calls,
call.
and we're not in any real committed situation to attacking. Fly wants to get that Trinity Force before he actually starts to do something. Mickey is going for the Faker build. Cross Queen's claim into Lichbane for split pushing threats, which he will have given his Trinity Force and the superior wave clear that his team will have in the early game compared to trying to split up against that Callista, who...
Oh, Lyra gets spotted out, gets grabbed up, Cocoon to chain him in. Fly with a nice package delivery comes in and solidifies that first blood. Very nice by KT.
Well, that's exactly what you want to do. Use the package to create picks.
Yep.
And an easy hook there from Hachani. Lyra just not deciding to move whatsoever and eat that hook.
Yep, not realizing that he was standing on top of a ward. So,
I think he could have guessed, given that they were doing the Rift Herald. And
more than likely. So, a bit of a brain fart by Lyra, we'll say. So, still first blood goes over. Now 700 gold gap here in favor of KT. Dragon to spawn, and they're pretty well poised to be able to take their first, and that will equalize. I got the word correct this time. Equalize the dragon count.
Equivalate!
I'm telling you, it sounds like a Harry Potter spell.
That's what you do when you equalize something in Harry Potter. You just yell, equivalate!
Equivalent. This balances.
Balances something.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound very useful.
Most of the spells in Harry Potter are. There's probably a lot of spells.
There's super useful
I'm
ones.
saying
You can straight up kill people.
No, I'm saying
that's really
there's
useful.
probably a lot of spells in Harry Potter that are completely useless that we didn't hear about. See, though, Cocoon lands onto Ixu. Good damage to follow up here from Flies. He throws out that Foss Bomb. Repel up in the air for score. Not going to be able to come down on anybody. But the ping's coming out onto the Dragons. That's a decent amount of damage onto score. So, see if they're going to start this one up. Looks like AFREECA just going to force their way in and take this one.
Indeed. So, second Dragon of the game here at 13. It'll end at 13.5 minutes. At least AFREECA has that going for them in the late game, as they are going to have a really tough time against KT's composition just when it comes to equalizing or equivalating damage output.
I'm going to get this in Webster's dictionary. I'm going to start a petition.
It's our new OGN word.
It is the new OGN word. Equivalent. Wonderful. You're welcome for that.
Thanks. It's a special word that means exactly the same thing as other words and is therefore useless. It doesn't have any special context besides being hilarious.
It's just it's a synonym, okay, for other words that don't exist. I don't know. I'm the play-by-play. I'm here to talk fast and not think about the words that are coming out of my mouth.
Yeah, well, at least you're honest with yourself. Know your position. Know your role. There you go. It looks like a freeze actually coming in for KT in the bottom lane. Arrow very patient, trying to get a deep freeze and just play around that. Does limit the amount of picks that they will be able to get if AFREECA doesn't go down into that bottom side, but they really want to power up this Callista because she is 50 CS behind in this lane swap right now.
Yeah.
Significant, so they need to make the most out of this.
Very rough. Mickey gets grabbed up. Great Cocoon underneath the tower. Score. Gonna take that one away, and Mickey just playing with fire that far up. Not respecting the big potential from Hachani.
No one is respecting thresh hooks in this game. Lyra didn't. He just stood in that brush, having no idea whether it was warded or not. Easy hook. Hachani's like, yeah, this is the easiest hooks ever. Here's
Maybe
another
it's because they haven't seen Thresh in so long, they forgot what he does.
It's like, oh, that's a new character. What does he do?
Yeah, do I have to flash that thing that's coming at me
Oh,
really
good
fast?
God, I'm dead. And that's the end of it.
Yeah, very easy kill, but they're still going to push it off Fly with not a lot of mana. They're actually going to dedicate their TP here to keep that minion alive and get the turret.
Yeah, Mickey's TP comes in to hold it. Johnny, nice cast, knocking him in. And that's going to be a pick straight back over to AFREECA. Songyun picking that up.
Johnny was just standing there using the box and all of his abilities
trying
by
to
himself in that choke. I don't know what he was trying to accomplish. He knew the teleport was coming in.
I'm going to solo kill this Gragas, guys.
But I like what AFREECA is doing. They're punishing the freeze from the Callista. If your enemy is doing that, you have to find other plays to make on the map because Callista is not going to be able to respond in time.
Well,
and
speaking of not responding in time, Arrow might not be able to get out in time. It's going to be the depth charge coming in. Snowflower can't get in there to lock him down, but that's going to be the flash and the heal away from the Callista. Nice roam by AFREECA, only costing them the flash from the Nautilus.
Callista way too far up, has to use both summoner spells to escape from a situation that should have been fairly obvious after AFREECA pushed down 2 turrets in the mid lane, but this is solid map shot calling and map play here from the Freaks. They want to get in and do damage to punish Callista for trying to catch up and farm to Songyun's Lucian, and KT on the back foot a little bit. Gonna push this wave up, but it won't be too much damage with Mickey answering in kind.
Barely any. Be doing a good amount of damage. Looks like he is going for that Faker-esque build. Cross Queen's Claim coming in.
Need to start split pushing.
Yep, Sheen. And then the Boots of Lucidity as well. So we'll be firing out those Glitter Lances constantly. So good wave clear for AFREECA. Good harass as well from the side of this Lulu.
AFREECA wants this. I don't know if how willing they are to commit. 5 members of KT lurking around this Rift Herald, and they don't really have the vision there, especially after this pink ward is removed. So KT decides to stake their claim on the Herald instead. Is Corki going to take the package? He's sitting in the base.
Yeah. If you ever have to ask, is this worth it? When you're talking about a Rift Herald, it's probably not.
All right, so he grabs the package and then comes up. So he's waiting to see whether his team actually got the Rift Herald buff. And now they're going to want to push and then use the Herald buff on a tier 2 while using the Corki package to potentially dive. Mickey, though, splitting into the bottom side, has that Sheen. Will be a danger to the already injured tier 2 bottom turret.
Oh, Snowflower coming in. They sweep the brush, so they know that it's not warded. Fly, though, creating some good pressure in this mid-side. Mickey roaming up to have to answer that.
I don't know why you would sweep that brush and then immediately put a pink ward down into it, but
one or the other. Just wasting resources at that point.
Like, you have to double check, you know?
Yeah, just gotta be really sure.
Well, they're really sure now.
See, though, hook goes on to Songyun, and Johnny, though, has to flash away. Fly, getting engaged on nice cast, uses the package to get himself to safety. The box comes down as Ixu TP's in on the back side. He's trying to lock down as many members as possible. That's going to be hit Johnny, getting dragged from the Fates Cold. They throw him back in. They do, but the Wild Growth comes through on Ixu. He falls all the same. Fly finding the kill. The hook going to go wide, and Johnny going to get punished for it as Songyun goes back in to finish him off. Score trying to kite around the side, but he gets taken down as well. A double kill now coming in for Songyun, and that is going to be Fly falling as well. A 3 for 2 in favor of AFREECA, and they are opening up this game for themselves.
Yeah, and they couldn't quite kill the tower. Great counter engage there from the AFREECA Freaks. Songyun just left uncontested. Really good TP also. Fly has to use his heal and his package to get out. Ixu there with the instant teleport through, gets the depth charge down, tries to deal with Sunday before he can actually get on top of Songyun. And you can see right here, Arrow just doesn't have the damage yet. Fly shooting wide with the rocket, trying to kite back into this choke point. Score actually manages to kill Mickey, but gets traded over to the Lucian. And this is perfect for the AFREECA Freaks. They need that Lucian to be strong, to be dealing damage. He's now 3-0 with a 35 CS advantage, and that's where they have to be if they want to all in with this Lulu Lucian and like 3 tank composition.
Yep. Rapid fire cannon been completed, and he is very much ahead in gold over top of Arrow. Johnny getting grabbed on the trophy, comes down as well to lock him in place, and he falls. Songyun finding his 4th kill. Somebody goes in deep with a twisted advance, but he's just not tanky enough. Snowflower will fall. Arrow gonna find that kill. But that is going to be Someday falling all the same. Score now getting engaged on Polymorph, trying to run for his life. A nice stretch line, the Dragon Arrow. He goes goes down, and Fly with nowhere to go is going to fall as well. It's just Score, all on his lonesome, limping back to the base, and that's going to be a third Dragon going over to AFREECA.
This is the big danger time. AFREECA has the resources now. They're all on the right person. More kills onto Songyun. 2 kills and 2 assists. They catch out Hachani in the front here. The rest of KT not ready to start contesting this Dragon yet. Throw the Wild Growth down to create this huge frontliner. And they don't have any flank pressure. They get Snowflower, sure, but Arrow doesn't really have anything left to do at this point. He's not a 2-item Callista yet. He's still trying to build up, and he's just not ready to fight. You gotta, if he had had Hurricane alongside the Blade of the Ruin King, that would probably have been a different fight, but without that, he is still in a power trough, and now Songyun is immensely powerful.
Yeah.
And he's not gonna die either. Not with Mickey, with this Lulu, and not with this huge crowd control front line.
Yep.
It's going to be really surprising if KT can find a way back into this one.
Yep, comes back with a rapid fire cannon, wins a fight, goes back and gets another BF sword.
Especially when
Songyun's getting huge.
KT has 1 tank on this team, and that Trundle is just going to sap everything out of Someday.
Yeah. Well, this was actually one of the reasons why we saw Trundle support come out as well. Not only was Gnar a major counter pick to Maokai on the top side, you just run Trundle support, and then you steal all those tanky stats. First time I saw that, I believe, was in the LMS last season. They started running that every time there was a Maokai on the enemy team, and it just does wonders, and we're seeing that being replicated right here in this game.
And also, Songyu's going to be able to play aggressively with the Whimsy and the shields from Lulu, so once Someday gets hit by the Trundle ultimate, basically it doesn't matter if Songyun's in range of a Twisted Advance or not, because he could just walk up and just tear through the Maokai.
He's doing a good job of that so far, and KT, things looking a bit grim for them. 4.6 thousand gold down. 2 turrets and 3 dragons in the pocket of AFREECA, and they are pressuring in on all lanes, trying to extend that lead even further.
It's not even a really clear win condition for KT right now. Said the 3 dragons, we're going to see like basically a 30-32 minute possible 5th dragon here for the AFREECA Freaks. They can't fight before that. Their sieging is not awesome. They don't have a split push advantage because they don't have 2 TPs. Corki, Callista, not the greatest siege pairing compared to something, you know, with a longer range from the AD carry role. Really problematic.
Yep. Several members of AFREECA just hovering around that Baron. Don't have too much vision. They have 1 ward in the back of the pit. There's actually a surprising amount of vision control there for KT up the river. But this bottom side of the jungle is almost completely owned by AFREECA at this point. A couple of big boards are standing. Snowflower going to find one of them right now.
Well, Hurricane is done. I don't think that KT is going to have
Hooray.
a better power spike to work with. They just picked up Rapid Fire Cannon for Corki, Hurricane. Nice,
wow.
Nice job there using the...
Beautiful trophy to just keep Hachani in there. So Thresh down to half
You gotta
HP.
do it. This is right. They're gonna pull the trigger.
Yep, Lyra gonna have to body slam away. Here comes somebody in the backside. Locks down Songyun. Let's see if he can do anything though. It's gonna be the Trundle coming across, just stealing those tanky stats. They knock him right back in, and he's gonna go down. Songyun finds the kill. Nice dredge line onto Arrow. Wild Growth comes in onto Ixu to pop him up, and Arrow fires back with a kill. But gonna go wide, but Mickey falls all the same. Lyra gonna go down as well. It's a double kill for the 2 carries of KT. Songyun, the only one alive, and KT might have found a slight way back into this game.
That worked incredibly well. They used the item power spike. It was never going to be a better opportunity than it was right there for KT. And if you look, they know Mickey. He used the Whimsy and the shield on himself, so Songyun's highly vulnerable in the backside. Someday's going to come around. Explosive Cask actually doesn't do a whole lot. Sure, they go for the Gragas, or they get the Gragas hold, and they get the Someday. They kill the Someday. I'm tripping over my words right now. They kill Someday, but it still sets up a lot of Hurricane stacks for Arrow to power on through.
They're onto this Baron. It's do or die time for KT. It's going to be an execute on score. There's no smite available, just the Ren stacks. Can he get it? Arrow still on this one. Will run it away. He does get the Baron, but KT is just crumbling. Fly, gonna fall. Arrow, the only one left, goes down. Someday, the last man standing.
What?
The sole owner of the Baron buff. And just like that, KT fall apart yet again.
What happened to the... no, the Baron was taken by Arrow. Okay.
No, I know, yeah.
Yeah.
The Baron went over, but Sunday's the only one that has it.
Yeah.
Score just gets executed by Baron. What is happening?
All right, but they only have 5 seconds until these players come back up. So still a nice gold lead.
It's
Can they take an inhibitor is going to be the question. There
Absolutely.
are 3 members, yes, but will they be punished for it on the backside? Is somebody going to go in, try and stop them up right here?
You don't have any of your carries. The only person they could maybe get would be Ixu.
At least they got the Baron. That was a scary moment.
Yeah, take another look at it. It's just so
Goes back in, tries to repel. It was so close. Arrow does get the Ren stack kill, but Ixu so tanky. Songyun doing an incredibly large amount of damage. All Ixu has to do is go in that pit and just auto-attack people one by one to get the crowd control and spam his Riptide and wait for Songyun to clean up the carries, which he does. So now we're back to square one.
Yep.
It's time for KT to try and dig themselves out of this hole again. It's been a back and forth game. I think KT made the right call with that Baron for what it's worth, but they had to figure out some way to get themselves into a lead, and they really need to take this dragon now.
Yeah,
they have package.
It's like KT has fallen into a frozen lake, and every time they start climbing out of the water, the ice just breaks and they fall right back into it.
Good analogy. All right, dragon's gonna be theirs.
Yep, they do get that one away. Score confirms that one. The Smite Lear gets grabbed up, twisted advance deep into the backside. Something though gets polymorphed, has to take that lantern to safety. Fly using the package on the run. Score, nice flash will negate the dredge line. Only comes into the trophy. So good use of that terrain, but they're still hot on the chase. Mickey gets grabbed up, and Johnny just trying to deter them, but a nice trophy will separate him. Bates call to drag him to safety.
Excellent disengage. Excellent disengage from KT. They take the objective. They hold on to their most important abilities. They don't get too greedy. They send Someday in to tie up the front line and then just lantern him right back out and start their retreat. Fly gets caught a little bit, but fortunately for him, he has the package to escape. Score is going to flash over the Pillar of Ice from Trundle. And they don't even lose anybody for that dragon, which is impressive given the deficit.
Yeah, that actually, the Trundle Pillar saving Score's life.
Yeah.
He just gets dragged back into that terrain instead of all the way back toward the Nautilus. So, very nice little coincidental reprieve for him. But yeah, KT trying to inch their way back in. 5.4 thousand gold separating these teams. Three towers still in the advantage of AFREECA. If they could equalize the turret count, that would help close that gold gap significantly.
Why? Use your word. Come on, Shakespeare.
Equivalate.
Oh, they've got him trapped.
Yep, Hook not going to go in. Someday, though, still here, locks down onto Lyra. Arcane smashes him back in so Arrow can start stacking up those Rens. Songyun, the shield already used. A nice calling coming across. So Johnny can take a hell of a lot of damage. They have to back off towards this tower. And Ixu has wandered down and is going to join the team. Super Creeps starting to stack up inside of the base. Yeah, they're just going to have to surrender this tier 2.
They got the Trundle ult down now, so they can't actually dive the turret anymore once the Maokai heals up. That's going to be highly useful. And KT, at least they're able to constantly farm these mid lanes. We've seen Mickey with that big CS advantage, so it's all about the closure here. AFREECA has the advantage. They have to push forward, but they don't have the Trundle ult, and that is actually crucial for them.
Yep. See Songyun constantly shielded up by Mickey's Lulu.
Here we go again. Do you like TP flanks? Yes, you do. There you go. I answer for you.
He has to come to the one either by the Raptor camp or
they'll come to the bottom one in lane.
Yeah. It's the only two possibilities. Hook not going to land here.
It's not even going for it.
Yeah. You can see the Super Creeps again are just pushing in. Now onto the Nexus Towers. Oh, wow. Really big twisted advance. Songyun dashes away. And then it's going to have to take that Dark Passage to get to safety. Somebody almost falling yet again. And that's without the Trundle ultimate even being up. Top tower being pressured out as well. Like a 3-lane push for AFREECA, especially with those Super Creeps coming into the mid lane. See how much longer KT can hold on. Hachani, these hooks constantly going wide, just not able to thread the needle.
Mickey's really low on mana.
Oh, ETP's into the backside now. Goes in onto Mickey, locks him down. The Wild Growth immediately popped though, and Someday has to flash out. He's going to go down all the same. The Glitterlands finishing him out on the backside. Arrow getting locked up. It's going to be Lyra coming forward, but doesn't have the mana to follow up. Now Ixu in this front lane has to flash away, but he goes down all the same. Arrow finding the kill. Lyra with no mana cannot body slam away.
They need to save their inhibitor.
Yeah, the Cocoon not going to connect, so they have to back off. It's just one kill that they pick up, but the inhibitor getting knocked on in this top side of the map.
It's really hard to fight KT's composition because of the Callista and how much damage she can do to that front line and how well she can kite out a lot of these champions. So that's about the only thing KT has going for them. They couldn't actually follow up with further kills. I think they could have chased down 1 or 2 more, but it would have cost them that inhibitor. And now they have 2 exposed inhibs. They get 1 respawned in the mid lane, 1 minute till Baron, 2 minutes until Dragon, and they will not at least be under threat of super minions for a little bit. But Mickey will keep up his split pushing ways.
Yeah. This will at least enable them to leave the base, at least temporarily. Get some visions. We can see they are establishing that in their own jungle, trying to see the avenues of attack for AFREECA as they advance straight back over towards KT's inhibitors.
I think Ixu may have overbuilt for magic resist in this game. He went Veil and Cowl, and that's not helping him against the Callista or the if Corki gets into the auto attack range, especially since he's building rapid fire cannon into the Infinity Edge. That may be a bit problematic to have not completed another big armor item first, but at least he has a chain vest now, so that is going to be something. Someday, wanting to get that Sunfire cape desperately.
Close as the Bomby Cinder so far. See those Scuttle Crab going to get taken, and this is just going to be AFREECA starting up the Baron. Fly going to be a bit behind, trying to get the package and get there in time, but it's a lot of damage on the side of Songyun. I don't know if he's going to be able to collapse. Looks like they're going to disengage. Songyun splitting off from the rest of his team, throws out the culling to try to deter the advance. The box comes down. Ajani and Someday very deep into the front lines here. Ajani gets thrown in with the Fate's Call, tries to lock down Songyun, but he's just getting melted out. That's going to be the first kill here as Songyun dips and ducks around, gets a double kill. Let's see if he can make it more. Arrow arriving though, getting on to Ixu will take him down. Mickey on the sidelines, nice rocket by Fly, connects, and that's going to be a 3 for 2 in favor of KT.
As KT has to go back again to look at that minion wave at their inhibitors. And AFREECA really messed up there. You cannot run this composition and have the Lulu not there. It doesn't work, right? You need Lulu there. There was no good place for Lulu to TP to, so Lulu has to run all the way around. And she split up from Songyun. You just can't get the spells that you need to power up this Lucian. Fly going to do a nice job, forces the wild growth out on Lulu herself. So just poor positioning from the AFREECA Freaks right here costs them dearly. Arrow with the flash there, and then they follow up with a rocket to finish off Mickey. But yeah, that Lulu has to be next to the Lucian, otherwise this team composition does not operate.
Yep. You can see though, Songyun and Snowflower make quick work of the Dragon. So they do take that for themselves. Now that's 4th Dragon, so if we get to that near 39-minute mark, 5th Dragon is a very real possibility for AFREECA. KT barely inching out in some of these fights. But that's still a 10-0 and 4 Lucian. Songyun really playing out of his mind right now.
Surprising to me there.
Oh, they jump over the wall. I don't know if that barrel can be seen. Ixu though walking over.
They should have an idea.
Yeah, they know that this is being taken
All right, they know now.
But it's already down below half HP. Lyra here to confirm, and this is scored nowhere nearby. It's going to go down. Mickey actually gets the last hit. They slow out Ajani. Maybe they can get on the chase here. Throws out the hook, finds Snowflower. Box comes down. Snowflower looking like he's going to fall. He does. Arrow finds that kill. And now Someday goes in, twisted advance onto Ixu. They're just trying to front line. Wild Growth comes across him, but they pop him up with a Fate's Call.
He didn't
goes
ult.
down. A double kill here for Arrow.
Snowflower didn't ult. So the Someday was absolutely huge in that fight. They actually couldn't kill him. And that's a 1-team fight after the Baron. KT decides, well, they have the Baron. If we let them recall and try and push, we're going to lose this game.
Yeah.
So we have to fight them just in case they've used a bunch of mana and taken some damage from that Baron. They get the pick onto Snowflower as we take a look right here. There's the hook, straight into the twisted advance, and then just the burst from Corki. Doesn't even have a chance to ult. That was a huge play from KT.
Yeah.
Because otherwise Someday wouldn't have had the tankiness really to continue rolling through this fight, get the wild growth out of Mickey, take out Ixu for the double kill for Arrow, who also really needed that gold to get some armor penetration. And we see Someday too has a QSS. So he is dealing with the Trundle ult that way now.
Yep. So 2 of the 5 Baron buffs have been taken away. Carries in the jungle still holding on to it.
All right, Dominic's Regard. Lord Dominic's Regard finished for Arrow. That is a massive purchase for him.
Yes, it is.
Still not completed onto Songyun.
Goes for the Bloodthirster as well, so looking for that added sustain and shield.
Yeah, he just needs to stay alive.
Yeah. He's been doing a pretty good job in these last couple fights, but it's no Songyun. He just has yet to go down. God, I feel so bad for Songyun if they lose this game.
Well, he did what he could, and
You tried.
mistakes were made, like
You get a gold star.
Mickey not being there to help Songyun in entirely the wrong location and still actually burning his TP. Mickey doing some decent damage this game, actually, with how far ahead he is.
Yep, 2,000 gold. And nearly 3,000 for Songyun over top of Arrow. But that's just one big shutdown waiting to happen. See that damage though coming in onto score already. Getting it burned down to half HP. Himber getting aggressed on by AFREECA.
Someday has TP again, but he's in the front line.
Almost a half HP. Someday doing what he can to try to zone him off, but this is going to go down. Hook not going to connect on anybody. Baron empowered minions, double cannon minions now pushing into the base, and this is going to be 2 inhibitors falling in the base of KT. So AFREECA buying more time for themselves. And we're going to see dragons spawning in 2.5 minutes, so they might just be waiting out for that 5th dragon.
That's going to be KT's Alamo. Their last stand has to be at the 5th dragon. They lose the 2 inhibitors, but they eliminate the Baron buff. So at least they, with the double kill around the Baron, after the Baron, they bought themselves time. So the Baron buff wasn't as useful as it could be, but they still have a long way to go to push out these lanes and prepare for the 5th dragon in 2 minutes' time. Ward's going down. Of course, they will be there by the time the dragon spawns. Question is, can Someday get this Sunfire cape? Looks like he's recalling now. That would help out quite a bit with shoving back these minion waves in an efficient manner, and yes, he can.
Yes, he can. And a pink ward to boot.
What a good guy. Buying pink wards, that's what I like to see.
I want that Mercurial Scimitar.
No,
Please.
those who think buy a pink. Achilleos. That's the motto.
That's a good little mantra to tout. Actually, haven't heard that one before.
I just made it up right now, so there you go.
You could have your own.
I'll just have a T-shirt.
Yeah,
made.
I was gonna say you could have your own brand of League of Legends sayings on clothing.
Pressure coming in now would be great for AFREECA to lock down this final inhibitor before they go for the dragon. Therefore, make it even easier for them to secure that final objective. Someday just burning through his mana pool, trying to clear out these super minion waves. Every buff taken up here by AFREECA. Red buff for Songyun, blue buff for Mickey. Now we come into the 20 seconds until dragon. And AFREECA doesn't have to take this immediately. They can simply just dance around it and wait for super minion waves to push in, which is exactly what they should be doing.
Yeah.
They have the far inhibitor, so big advantage there. So this is going to come down to, can KT force a good fight? They have good wards. Score placed those 2 minutes ago.
I mean, they also do just have a
Score going to go in
metric
these.
crap ton of damage, so they could just try to burn through this dragon.
They could. They absolutely could.
They're just gonna hover around
Fly
it
with
like
the
you
package.
said.
This is a good setup.
Yeah,
but
look
they
at
gotta
this
start
wave at
this.
the top side.
They have to start this.
Yep, hook down for Hachani. So not gonna be able to go for that. See the pings, they know that these Nexus towers are being pressured out. Already down to half HP score. Waiting in the pit, but the
Reset.
Dragon's gonna go ahead and reset. Somebody in this front line. Gonna get popped up by the Wild Growth that comes through, and they just pile onto this Maokai. Has to flash away. Looks like he might be able to get out alive here. Package being used by Fly. Flash and heal as well, trying to keep himself alive. Arrow dancing around. Can he go down? Mickey comes over the wall. He has that shield. Mickey getting flayed away. He's gonna fall. Arrow finds the kill. That's gonna be 5th Dragon, however, going over to AFREECA. Songyun confirms that. So far, it's a
Someday!
2-for-1. Someday goes in, but Songyun firing straight back, takes down score. He's gonna take down even more. Someday falls. Ixu flash over the wall. He dies. It's just Snowflower alive. Massive waves of Super Creeps knocking on the Nexus Tower. Snowflower having to hightail it out of there.
There's one down, and they're going to lose the other one. KT has just been holding on to this game barely. There's a Baron up in 30 seconds, but they're going to lose both Nexus turrets as a result of that fight. You could see the late game, though, really arriving for KT, and the QSS, at the very least, keeping this Maokai alive into the Trundle ultimate long enough to deal the damage. Holy cow, this game is so close. I cannot believe KT has been able to hold on this long.
Yeah, screw the dragon. The base is now the Alamo.
That's right.
For KT ROLSTER.
That's a much more appropriate analogy. So yeah, let's take a look at this. So Someday goes in onto Ixu. Snowflower is going to use that ultimate, cleanse it out by Someday right there. Arrow holds on to the Fate's Call to play in the choke. And that's actually proves pretty crucial for getting enough damage down onto these carries. Meanwhile, Songyun is sort of boxed in right there. Mickey comes over the wall with the Whimsy, but that's going to get QSS out by Arrow. Yeah. So the CC just not enough right there to hold Arrow in place. Someday recalls
the cavalry has arrived.
Back in.
But look at this.
AFREECA Freeks onto the Baron once again.
And it's just going to be given over. KT cannot contest it. Just another Baron going over to AFREECA. Let's see if they can close out with it this time. 2 waves of, actually never mind, not 2 waves of Super Creeps because the inhibitors are respawning. So they're probably going to use the Baron to push in, take both of these inhibitors again, then back off and get a 5th dragon again, and then KT will win the game somehow.
KT wins this game. It is going to be a truly epic comeback.
I already feel like this is more like just great epic fights than we saw in that 70-minute game between Longzhu and CJ.
The team fighting has been really fun to watch in this game. Very back and forth. You can see the mind games as people decide their targets, when to use the QSS, when to try and use their ultimates. Inhibitor back down. So it was short-lived. The inhibitor respawns in the top and mid lane. Chani going to go in, misses the hook. Oh no!
That is devastating here for KT. Massive engage tool burned out. Someday going to try to make something happen. Goes on to Lyra, who is just caught up in the thick of the fight here against KT. He's going to fall. Fly finds that kill. It's going to be the first kill of
hook.
This so far.
Got
Gets hooked, but a nice QSS. Monty's heart just jumped through his chest.
That was so dangerous, but had the Mercurial Scimitar still up, Arrow has his available. Someday probably building into a GA. Man, that QSS has saved Someday's ass quite a few times this game.
Yes, it has. Saving Songyun's as well.
Mortal reminder here.
Yep.
Well, I guess that does slow down Arrow's lifesteal tanking, as well as Fly's, both of them with the Bloodthirster. And Maokai as well, who gets, of course, the big percentage of his HP back. And he'll get it pretty much every auto attack with how many spells are flying in these team fights.
So this one makes a little bit more sense than the one we saw earlier.
It does, although I think Mortal Reminder is generally better with Hurricane builds because you can apply it across multiple people.
Yeah. I would agree with that. So going to be a couple more minutes though before Dragon comes up. It would be the second 5th dragon for AFREECA. Of course, weren't able to do too much with the first one. But yeah, 2 minutes now on the board. It's just a question of can KT really try to contest anything? They have 2 open inhibitors, 2 down inhibitors rather, I should say. A wave of Super Creeps, Baron empowered, going to be pushing in those lanes if AFREECA roams up there, and then this lane also pushing down to the bot side as they try to get that last inhib.
All right, is this KT's Alamo? I don't know, they've had so many so far.
It has to be. You don't get another Alamo, this is it.
This is the last Alamo.
You are out of Alamos.
Davy Crockett only got 1 Alamo.
Yeah.
Unlucky.
Yeah. Be grateful, KT. You got 2. See Songyun using those shields from the Lulu, just dashing up and trying to burn down that tower. It's going to go down.
Still taking a lot of damage, though, from the Porky poke, but there's so many super minions.
Oh, boy. Yeah, they just have to give this up, and I just don't see a way that KT comes out on top of this one. That's a GA Nautilus. Even if you kill him, you don't really kill him. Nautilus 2, the Resurrection. Makes an appearance. Score takes a lot of damage from Songyu. This is going to be 3 hips down in the base. Dredgeline not going to connect. Colin comes across. That's going to be trying to go a deep triple flay, but it looks like he might just get melted out. Mickey doesn't go down. He's actually going to go down. They're going to go straight into the Nexus. They're going to finish this off. There's nothing that you can do if you're KT. And just like that, AFREECA, the gatekeeper, showing up, taking down the 3rd place team here.
It's going to knock KT down to 9-5. They'll still be in 3rd place, but they can't challenge Jin Air for that 2nd seed tonight. AFREECA, though, keeping their playoff hopes alive, moving to 6-7. Back-to-back wins against KT and Samsung. Well done.
Yeah, really well done by AFREECA.
I like their draft a lot.
Drawn-out game.
I really liked AFREECA's drafts the last couple of weeks, except for the Yasuo. I didn't like that.
Yeah.
But everything else, I've been a big fan of.
Just not the Yasuo.
And tough loss for KT ROLSTER that is going to make it harder for them to secure a playoff position, one would assume. They're still in pretty good standing.
I think that they still might be able to do it, but they do have, like I said, a rough schedule ahead of them. Kongju Monster are going to be the only other relatively easy game for them.